1st, 1975 against the Baltimore Orioles, Nolan Ryan tied the all-time Major League record of 4 no-hitters held by Sandy Koufax. The young man from Alvin, Texas, showed great potential with the New York Mets, displaying a blazing fastball. But after 4 seasons with the Mets, he was traded to the American League and the California Angels. There, Nolan Ryan proceeded to lead the league in strikeouts his first 3 seasons, averaging over 350 per year. Nolan then achieved every pitcher's dream, a no-hitter against the Kansas City Royals on May 15, 1973. The 26-year-old fireballer notched no-hitter number 1 and showed signs that there may be more to come. Two months later in Detroit, he struck out 17 Tigers that day as Norm Cash popped out to shortstop Rudy Maioli for the final out and no-hitter number 2, making Nolan Ryan only the 5th man to pitch 2 no-hit, no-run games in the same season. No-hitter number 3 was more than a year later against the Minnesota Twins on September 28, 1974. But no-hitter number 4 had him sharing the spotlight with the Dodgers' Sandy Koufax, and Nolan's mission became no-hitter number 5.
When I had 4, I was tied with Sandy Koufax, and so once I tied Koufax, I made it a goal of mine to try to throw my 5th no-hitter, or hope to throw my 5th no-hitter. You don't go out trying to throw no-hitters, but I was in hopes that that would happen.
This is Johnny Naranjo, a sports commentator from the Dominican Republic. The Dodger lineups is as follows. Batting first and playing second base, Dave Lopez. Batting second, in center field, Ken Landro, who played last winter in the Dominican Baseball League. Batting third, in left field, Dusty Baker. Batting fourth at first base, Steve Garvey, who played 2 winters in the Dominican League with the Licey Baseball Club. Batting fifth, from the Escogido Baseball Club and the LA Dodgers, Pedro Guerrero playing at third base. Batting sixth, catching Mike Socia, who after 2 winters in the Dominican League is going back this year. Batting seventh, in right field, Ron Renicky. Batting eighth, at shortstop, Darrell Thomas, and batting ninth, the pitcher, right-handed pitcher, Ted Power, who won 18 games, lost 3 with the Albuquerque Baseball Club. We have over 20 Dominican players in the major leagues, and we are doing this game live to the Dominican Republic via radio. We also be seen via satellite through NBC Network.
Johnny Naranjo, and he's always so cheerful when we see him, Tony.
Johnny Orange is what he's called down there, and a great baseball tradition, the national sport in the Dominican Republic. Nolan Ryan takes the mound for the Astros here in the Dome. Here's the defense behind him. Jose Cruz in left, Tony Scott in center, Terry Poole in right field, Art Howe at third base, Craig Reynolds at short, Phil Garner at second base, Harry Spillman starting at first base, Al Ashby the catcher, and Nolan Ryan, along with Sandy Koufax, only 2 men in baseball history to have pitched 4 no-hitters. And Joe, they tell us that 3 or 4 times this year when Nolan Ryan came out of the bullpen from warming up before a ball game, he had no-hit stuff.
I tell you, anytime he walks on the mound, you have to kind of look for it because he just throws that hard. His strikeouts, as you look at his other stats, 9 and 5, he has averaged 9.5 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. It's amazing. Yeah, the general manager of the Dodgers,
He had it all the way.
didn't even move.
A Branch Rickey protege, Al Campanis.
Of Cincinnati, San Francisco 3.5 in the National League West. Reynolds, 1 out.
I wonder if Reynolds is having some trouble with his arm. He threw that from down under that time. He's never had a great throwing arm, but it's always been acceptable to get rid of the ball. But he threw a ball away yesterday, Joe.
This is going down in these last 2 weeks. American League East. Boston, Detroit tied. Milwaukee, a game and a half. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Landro, who had the longest hitting streak in the major leagues last year with Minnesota. He had 31, but this time the curveball, the overhand curveball, the drop gets him.
You will see this same kind of movement on the part of the hitter. Watch Landro flinch. Ooh, just explodes. I think when we touched upon it in the opening, Joe, talking about 2-pitch pitchers, you see so many kids come up these days with throwing 4 and 5 different pitches.
Dusty Baker takes it outside, ball 1. He's got a 12-game hitting streak going. In that streak, he's 20 for 46. Dr. Scald, Dusty Baker, he's had a good year for these Dodgers. You throw that overhand curveball like that, about all you can do is genuflect, boy. That just gets ready for the 9 o'clock mass. You're just on your knees and nothing you can do.
once in a while he'll do what he just did to Dusty Baker. He dropped down a little bit more from 3/4 to the side, and it was a fastball, but Dusty still buckled. There's the drop.
Great Bill Meyer, manager of Pittsburgh, used to call it Uncle Charlie. Here it comes. Swung late, right to Phil Gardner. It's going to be an easy inning for the Astros.
First place Astros, and I'm going to give out the starting lineup of the day. Batting leadoff in right field is Terry Poole. Hitting second is Phil Gardner. Hitting third, myself. In center field, Tony Scott. Hitting fourth is Terrell Cruz, our left fielder. And hitting fifth is Alan Ashby. They call him the Smash Ashby. He's hot right now, and he's going to be swinging a good bat today. And hitting sixth is Art Howell playing third base. And hitting seventh is Harry Spillman. He's my man, Spillman. And hitting at shortstop, hitting eighth is Craig Reynolds. And batting ninth is a pitcher, Nolan Ryan, with hard gas, and you will be seeing him throwing real hard today.
All the time.
Ted Power, a hard thrower. He says he has 3 pitches, but rarely uses a changeup.
2. Poole and Scott really interchanged in the batting lineup. They thought Poole would be the RBI man, but when he was hitting third, he kind of pressed to drive in the runs, and Scott was driving him in from the leadoff spot
for a ball game.
One out.
Joe, it almost becomes trite because the Houston Astros have just 9 ball games to say that this is a critical and important game. It obviously is. But I wonder from a psychological viewpoint if this is not an especially important game because they're batting against Ted Power. And Nolan Ryan, who's been such a good pitcher, they feel they may have to win this game. They were wiped out by Hooten last night as shutout, and tomorrow they face Valenzuela.
With George Munger. Geoff Cross. Used to be Cardinal country. Garner draws the base on balls. He's on.
If there's going to be a problem for Powers, you just saw it, a control problem.
Garner, Deacon Jones telling me that Scott and Garner really stabilized the effectiveness of left-hand pitching against him since Scott is a switch hitter. There goes Garner. Here's the throw. Safe. Kansas City, but with the split season, obviously, Kansas City's only worried about Minnesota. Oakland's already in. He got him on a curveball, a beauty.
Ted Power lacks arm discipline, but he's catching on to it. Whatever he's doing, it's working for Ashby.
17 for 23 since the change. Here's the pitch. Line drive right at Davey Lopes. He hit it right at him.
He has. We saw it last week in Boston. They certainly have.
Sounds like Wimbledon. You ever hear some of these guys grunt? Tennis players, all 4. He walked him. So Garvey's on.
Bill Verdon before the game. There's Guerrero and his stats. He plays center field. He has the throwing arm for a right fielder. Play third base. Lasorda said he could play second base. Times untouchable.
There he goes. Struck him out. Here's the throw. Safe.
So the curveball.
A breaking ball. It certainly was a curveball and a beauty.
Going now.
Be 6.
I think so too. I think the importance of the mini-series, and again, if the integrity of the game is in question, if there's any doubt.
Players want it, but they don't want the coaches and managers included. 3 balls and no strikes on Mike Scioscia. Steve Garvey is on at second base. No score. Right down the middle. 3 balls and a strike. It's a good team. He didn't get it. That was strength against strength. Inside the Astrodome, the Dodgers made no bones about it. They said we'd rather play Cincinnati because with this Houston pitching, they can wipe you out in a short series, and they can certainly do that. 3-2 to Scioscia. Curveball, he got it. No doubt about it. 3 strikeouts, and every one of them have been on Big Uncle Charlie. I mean, he really rolled that one off the table.
And you pick it up, and it's too late.
And here's Ron Renicky. Morning.
Now, let me see. 9-game winning RBIs, 15 home runs, and 94 runs batted in 126 ball games.
Gets by Ashby. There goes Garvey. He scored a wild pitch. Score. We're in the 2nd inning. It's popped straight up. Art Howell will fight the window panes and foul territory, makes the play. It's a tough ceiling here. So that ends the inning. we go into the bottom half of the second inning. There is no score. And coming to bat, it'll be Howe, Spillman, and 4 RBIs. Expos 2.5 in front of St. Louis in National League East. Milwaukee 8, Detroit 6. Robin Yount, 2 out, 3-run homer in the ninth, 1 for the Brewers. Milwaukee only a half game out. For last night's results, as Howe hits a high hopper to the shortstop, Darryl Thomas. And there's 1 away.
Last year he's had problems with a bad wrist.
He said that the artificial surface makes it tough on him as we look at Harry Spillman. And after the season, Russell will have surgery. Ron Say is out. They've had a lot of injuries, these Dodgers. Spillman hits the first pitch to Davey Lopes. They're 2 away. The Cardinals have taken a 2-0 lead over Pittsburgh at the end of 2. Orge a home run in the second inning. Minnesota beat Texas.
In the Umpires Association. During the strike, he and his son Steve umpired around the sandlots in Milwaukee.
Extra bases for Reynolds. It may be 3. He's going to try it. And he'll make it easily. So he's on at third. And this is a good doubles and triples ballpark.
Not known for his bat.
There you see the on-deck batter, Terry Poole. Here's a big pitch. He walked in. He walked in. Third base on balls given up by Power. Here's your pitch of decision. He's got to make it happen right here. Line drive, and what a play by Garvey. He hit a bullet. Garvey playing behind, as Tony pointed out, able to make that play. If he's holding him on, if there would have been a lapse there, if Socia doesn't call it, they got a problem, Tony.
You bet. Saves around, probably a double, maybe a triple if that ball wraps around down to that corner. Great play by Steve.
No. Boston, 3 runs in the bottom of the third. At the end of 3, it's Cleveland 5, Boston 3. Waits against Eckersley.
500 lifetime in his career, but he hadn't played with very good ball clubs at times. Mets one time were in a great ball club. Got to be careful, and he might just lose that one step where they could get him at second base.
Hopped in the air, foul. That's a strikeout. That's a 4th strikeout for Nolan Ryan. Jim Russo, the Baltimore Super Scout, an interesting theory that Lou Brock confirmed on base stealers. Almost had him. That was pretty close. That was the good move and the good throw.
It's to see your moves.
There he goes. Struck him out. Low throw. He's safe. Oh, baby, you sit back there. You can't blame Ashby. He's got to get a strike, but you... 2 balls and 2 strikes. He got him. Davey Lopes, that's a 5th strikeout for Nolan Ryan. He doesn't believe it. There. Here's the 3-2 pitch once again. He walked in.
You don't hear much about this guy because of Say driving in all the runs so many years, and Garvey and the others in the pitching staff. I'll take this guy over a lot of those players.
Right at the second baseman, Garner. That ends the inning.
15 days after the conclusion of the season.
Left field is going to drop for a base hit. So Garner is on.
He's gone.
Pitch out. They should get him.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, very close. Phil thought that he had his foot on the bag and the tag was up high. He had a few words as he stood on the bag with the second base umpire, Dick Stella. It was a tough call, but what a throw by Socia on this pitch out.
Good
Gives
pitch
him a
out.
good ball to handle. Scott couldn't help him out on the pitch out. Let's watch the tag by Darryl Thomas, the shortstop. Stella right in on the play. It is awfully close.
Where he tagged him. Scott right back up the middle. Darryl Thomas bobbles it. Can't get it. Scott is on.
He almost made a good play. He knew Scott would run. Probably may have had, was trying to feel it with one hand.
They give him an error.
Made a good
Manager at home. What do you think? He's holding. High hopper over Garvey's head. Scott may be able to score. Up with the ball is Renicky. Scott is going to be held at third.
Here's Garvey, who has played 114 consecutive errorless games. An artificial surface hop. Might have been a double play on dirt and grass. Scott over the shoulder into the corner. Now he picks up his coach, Leppard at first, coming down the line, waving him on. Then when Renicky made the perfect relay throw to Davey Lopes, they decided to hold him. With 2 outs, they may have taken a chance, Joe, and sent him. 1 out, he can still score on the sacrifice fly. Now it's Ron Peranowski out.
It's the protection man in case of the line drive hit down there. That's Gold. A base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Cruz. Astros lead 2-0.
Found late kick given him by Deacon Jones is working. And Ashby has 4. He had 3 home runs all of last year. He has 4 this year, and all his home runs have come in the second half this year. The opponents have hit just 7 for this season. An idea what kind of pitcher's park this is.
There goes Ashby. Line drive down the left field line. A foul ball. Foul ball. Right field deep. Way back goes Renicky.
Look out.
Ashby kind of nonchalant it back, and Renicky made a believer out of him as he went sliding back to first. 2 men out. Detroit batting. Straight away center field. Landro has plenty of room. He makes the catch. That ends the inning, but it's a good inning for Houston. They scored 2 runs. Ashby driving in both runs. And at the end of 3 innings, the score here, Houston 2, Dodgers nothing.
Noli going to go breaking stuff. He's done it a couple times today in this situation. Fastball.
He got him with the fastball and the grunt. 6 strikeouts.
Pitches every time he grunts, it's a fastball. Might be a little late.
Let's see if we get it this time. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. That was a curveball, no doubt about it.
Beyond me.
You heard it that time. He jammed him. Fly ball to right field. Guerrero. Curveball. Let's see what happens.
Fastball. Wow!
Way high and outside, and he got him.
Whoa, that
That's
ball was
7
loaded.
strikeouts. It really just went sailing out.
Before the game last night.
High chopper to Davey Lopes. There's 1 out.
Remind you, next week on our Game of the Week, we really haven't picked a game yet because there are so many things happening in so many divisions.
2-0. Cincinnati leading Atlanta. Identical in the standings this morning, 26-18. Ryan lines one in the right center field. Landro cuts it off. Ryan has himself a base hit.
He doesn't have that pleasure too often. Nobody Rice. Going away again. Pitch him away, play him away.
He hit that one in the hole. Ryan stops at second. Poole is on at first. 1 man out. And the batter is Garner.
Could be it for the kid. With Garner coming up.
Change and bring in Goltz. There you see the change. Bobby Castillo gives him a pat. And Power will leave the game. Nolan Ryan on at second base. Poole is on at first base. Garner is the batter.
Over from the Twins in the American League. Goltz has. I recall the Dodgers went after the 2 defensively.
High hopper to Guerrero. He goes to second. There's 1 out. There's no throw by Davey Lopes. Guerrero's only played 9 games at third base this season. May have cost him.
4 of the 5 games would be played in Chavez Ravine, Los Angeles, if he wins both halves.
Right back up the middle. Goltz has it. Easy toss to Garvey. So Goltz does the job. Puts out the fire.
The Astros, 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors. Could be trouble in the right field corner, but Terry Poole's there. We get the semi-line drive off the bat of Renicky. 2 runs the Astros have came in the 3rd inning. A 2-run single. 1 out. Ryan pitched to Darryl Thomas. He barely got a piece of the breaking ball. Hard Howe over to Spillman, out number 2. Darryl Thomas just protecting the plate, just slaps at the breaking pitch from Nolan Ryan. Another kid named Sachs, also a pretty good second baseman. Dodgers have up on their roster. The rosters were expanded for the month of September.
Like in the movie, they couldn't believe it.
Mercanti hit a cool .346 this year in the minor leagues with 1 home run and 58 runs batted in. Nolan Ryan gets strikeout number 8, so he will go into the 6th inning still with a no-hitter in his sight. Tony Siegel, there are the Forster stats.
Life been a big help in rebuilding his club.
Broke the bat, but it could be trouble. Renicky over, takes it on a big hop. So Cruz is out. He's been on base 3 times today. A walk in the 1st inning, a double in the 3rd. He scored a run, and now a single to right field. He's hitting. Drill to left field. Dusty Baker back to the warning track. He makes an outstanding catch, and Cruz will have to return to 1st. Baker takes a sure extra base hit from Alan Ashby.
Swinging hard, and Dusty Baker just right at the fingertips makes a great catch of this ball. Just does get it running towards that wall. Here's a look at it once more.
Joe, I think when you look where Dusty Baker started from, he was playing a very shallow left field for Al Ashby. Howe is grounded out and flied out. Cruz is going. Low pitch from Forster. He steals his 5th base of the year. What a jump he had on Forster. Forster saw him going. Howe at the plate. Ground ball. Thomas to his right. He'll have a long throw. He pulls Garvey, almost pulls Garvey off the bag. But Howe, with that gimpy leg, couldn't beat it out. Nice play by Thomas.
Cleveland over Boston, bottom of the 7th, and Milwaukee and Detroit tied 1 apiece, top of the 8th. What a ball game that is over in Detroit. We have Merle Harmon and Ron Luciano there. We've got a 2-0 game here, and Ryan working on it.
1 ball, 1 strike off Forster. Slider inside, pickoff attempt. Ball gets by. Cruz will not be able to go to 3rd base. Loeb sneak behind him. Billman. Chopper going to be trouble. Dale Thomas will have to hurry. Guerrero tries to cut it off. Cruz, nice play by Davey Lopes, Joe. Cruz had thoughts of coming home all the way from 2nd base, but Lopes came over from the 2nd base spot and backed up the play and saved a run. Wouldn't be a bad play to send him. He's thrown out. Ground ball. Darryl Thomas will go to 1st base to Garvey. So Forster pitches out of it after 5 here in the Astrodome. Off, runs the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes off Nolan Ryan, who has 8 strikeouts and allowed 3 walks. He just blew it by him. You bet the appeal goes down to the 1st base umpire, Joe West. So Nolan Ryan has strikeout number 9. No runs, no hits, 1 error for the Dodgers. The Astros, 2 runs, 8 hits, no errors. The Dodgers have left 3 base runners. The Astros, 9. Off the fist, the breaking ball up high, but it broke so sharply. Garner will throw on Landreau. There are 2 outs.
Let up on that curveball and got an easy strike.
Another breaking ball, strike 2. Strikeout number 10 for Nolan Ryan. He still has a no-hitter. Nolan Ryan, who today with 10 strikeouts for the 135th time in his major league career has struck out 10 or more. Tied with Sandy Koufax in that department. Forster gets Ryan for out number 1. No heads. Ground ball, breaking ball from Forster. Lopes, Garvey, 2 outs. The Astros needed a big game and some key hitting. 4 no-hitters. He pitched 2 in 1973 versus Kansas City, 1 against Detroit. 74, he no-hit Minnesota. 75, he no-hit Baltimore. Forster gets Garner.
Has walked 3. He is not allowed a hit. 1 strikeout in the 1st, Landreau. Guerrero and Socia in the 2nd. Power and Lopes in the 3rd. Garvey and Socia in the 4th. Garner has it. Reynolds has it.
Whoa.
Got him. Here's Socia. He struck out in the second, struck out in the fourth. Hit deep to right center field. Poole going back. He makes the catch. That's the closest they've come to breaking a no-hitter. Ryan, the end of 7, a no-hitter. We'll be right back. Houston leading 2-0. Here's the 7th inning stretch.
Bill Verdon considers the man in right field, Terry Poole, his best outfielder, maybe his best all-around player. Here's a reason why, as he preserves Nolan Ryan's no-hitter with this great catch in right center field. Terry Poole.
Here is Tony Scott to lead it off, and it's strike one. Poole has not made an error, and he just saved a no-hitter for Nolan Ryan, who in the 8th inning will be facing Renicky, Thomas, and the pitcher's spot. 6 outs away, Nolan Ryan. He leads by 2. 2-0 is the score when the bottom of the 7th. 2 strikes on Tony Scott. Popped up. Lopes is going out. Renicky coming in. Lopes says, "I'll take it," and he does. The Dodgers get some action in their bullpen going on, because if his own teammates didn't tell him, Forster will make the play himself. Cruz is out. The opposition will provide that service.
He has been through it many times before. And I'm sure pulling for Nolan Ryan, they're tied at 4 no-hitters each.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. He walked in. Ashby draws the base on balls. Brings up Art Howe. The road. 2-1 pitch. High hopper to Guerrero. He's going to go to Lopes. The force is on. So that ends the inning. Popped up. Cruz. Reynolds. Cruz. Hot shot. Garner has it. 2 outs. Tell you whether it's a ball or a strike. Bouncing ball to Garner. Should be easy. He goes into the 9th inning with a no-hitter. Listen to the crowd. So we go to the bottom of the 8th, 2-0 Houston. Nolan Ryan with a no-hitter, and we'll be right back, and I know you will. Dave Stewart is the new pitcher. Walling who came on. He walked in. First. It gets by Socia. Walling will go down to second base. Let's see how they rule it. 4, New York 2. Philadelphia, Chicago rained out. 9th inning. Cincinnati 2, Atlanta nothing. San Francisco, San Diego play tonight. Bouncing ball. Davey Lopes can't get it. Run will score. Heading for second is Reynolds. He'll make it. Coach Don Leppert. Almost a mandatory bunt situation here, and nothing else to get him off the bases. 3-0 Astros. Bunted to Garvey. Beautifully. Baltimore and the Yankees play tonight. Chicago started. White Sox then scored 2-0 in the second. Minnesota beat Texas 7-3. Bottom of the 8th. Astros leading 3-0. Line drive, left field, a base hit. Here comes Reynolds. Stopping at second is Poole. It's 4-0. Pitch and fouls it off for strike one off Steve Howe. Joe Garagiola with Tony Koufax. Tony is down behind home plate because we're sitting in on the Nolan Ryan story with base runners at first and second. Right field. Renick's back, tagging up his Poole, makes the catch, he holds. Renick made a believer of Poole last night. 4-3, 2.76 earned run average. Final score, Cincinnati 2, Atlanta 0. All finals. Line drive, base hit, no doubt about this one. Renick charges hard. Run will score. Holding at second is Garner. It's 5-0. It's away from Socia. There goes Garner. He'll make it. We've had two wild pitches. Let's see how they rule this one. Base runners at second and third. Well hit to left field. Baker's going back. Back has room. Makes the catch. So that ends the inning. And it sets up the ninth, where Nolan Ryan has Davey Lopes, Kenny Landreau, and Dusty Baker. And there's the man of the hour. And the fans are starting to react already as Nolan Ryan sets out to try to get the last 3 outs to get his no-hitter. He's tied with Sandy Koufax right now, 4 apiece. And we'll be right back. Three balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Dodgers is doing an interview, but we're going to hear part of this conversation with Nolan Ryan.
Did you feel the ball that Socia hit in the 7th inning might find the gap?
Well, when he hit it, I thought it was hit high enough. I knew it wasn't out, and with Terry's speed out there, I really felt like he had a good shot at catching it.
And the only other ball hit well, I think, was Renick's ball in the 5th inning.
Yeah, and I got in on him, but he hit it down the line good.
He said that Tony was telling me that the fastest fastball you had today was 97 miles per hour.
Well, I really didn't feel like I had exceptionally good velocity. I think that the biggest thing, I was able to get ahead with my curveball and move the ball in and out a lot.
Ross, let me interject a couple.
Right.
Ross Porter of the Dodger broadcasting crew has been interviewing Nolan Ryan, who's waited so patiently. Just a reaction from you. Sandy Koufax has 4 no-hitters. You have broken it with number 5, and a reaction to you when you threw that last pitch.
Well, Tony, it was hard to believe that I finally accomplished it, because I guess if there's one thing I wanted to do in my career was pitch that fifth one, since I've had a shot at it, and I've had a shot at it for a long time. And at my age, I was really starting to think that I probably wouldn't get it, because I've gotten into late innings before. Even twice this year I went into the seventh with a no-hitter going, and I just didn't seem to have that stamina that I used to have to put somebody away. And I think today I felt stronger. I didn't strike a lot of people out in the later innings, but I tried to be a little finer. I didn't challenge as many guys in the late innings as I had earlier.
Noli, I want to talk about two specific guys. Bill Verdon talked to us before the ball game, and he said that Mel Wright had worked with you so hard, and you had worked so hard to control the curveball. A comment on Mel Wright, your pitching coach, and also your catcher, Alan Ashby, who caught a beautiful ball game today.
Well, Alan caught a great game. He was thinking right along with me. We didn't shake much at all. We threw a couple of change-ups. They weren't working, so we just canned it. And on my curveball, Mel's worked with me, and I really think that the key to me is getting my breaking ball over. You can't win with one pitch. You can't shut people out with one pitch, because these guys, it's timing. They're fastball hitters. It doesn't matter how good a fastball you have. But if you have that breaking ball in there where they have to think about that, and you can put that thought in your mind, then you can get the fastball by them.
Noli, the superstition that goes along sometimes, and maybe it's old hat with pitching a no-hitter, you probably have been on the mound more than any pitcher in the history of baseball when you've gone late in the ball game with a no-hitter staring you in the face. What was going on the bench?
Well, nobody really said anything to me, and after the end of the eighth, Don Sutton asked me if I was superstitious. I said no, and he said, well, go put them away, would you? And so, you know, basically it's the same deal. The guys leave you alone. There's a lot of superstition in baseball, and it just worked out where I was as fortunate to have enough stuff to go ahead and do it.
When you left the bullpen before the ball game, well, let me let you introduce this young lady. Noli?
My mother.
This is Ryan. Have you seen all of Noli's other no-hitters?
No, this is the first one.
I know Noli's wife, Ruthie, came down in the field, gave him a big hug and kiss, but your grandchildren stayed at home. They did not see this no-hitter today.
Oh, yes. This was the day they all stayed home.
Noli, when you left that mound, did you think you had no-hit stuff down in the bullpen before the game today?
I never really know before the game, and like I say, I was struggling with my delivery a little today. I really didn't feel like my fastball is what it should be, and I got behind early in the game on some hitters, and with these guys, you really don't have luxury of doing that. I'm
going to call on your catcher, and I hope you can stand around for a while. Alan Ashby.
Just such a great game.
It was marvelous. Where were you sitting, Mrs. Ryan?
Oh, I don't know.
You lost track. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by. Nolan Ryan, our congratulations, and thank you for signing my scorecard. Congratulations to you. We're going to be back. Good luck to you the rest of the way. It's an important game, not only for the no-hitter today, but what it means to your ball club, and I think you never lost sight of that either.
Thank you. Well,
thank you, Nolan Ryan.
Big game for us.
Noli, our thanks to you. We'll talk to Alan Ashby when we come back. Right now, let's go back to Joe.